director at United with Love. Does anybody in here, are you guys familiar with United with Love? Okay, what do you know about us?
You can get free food to people.
Absolutely.
I've heard about it, and I think I might have seen like social media pages with it. But that's kind of all I.
Awesome. Okay, great. No, food is a great place to start. So we've been in Huntington County for 40 years. Starting in 1985, but up until last year, we were known as Love Inc. Is anybody familiar with Love Inc? Does that sound a little more familiar? Yeah. So yeah, we were Love Inc. For 38 years, and then we rebranded. We're now United with Love. So our name changed, but really that's the only thing that changed. We're still doing the same thing we've done, which is meeting the needs and filling gaps in Huntington County. What we are most well known for is food. We run the county's largest food pantry. Right now we're serving about 800 households with a little over 1,500 people in those households every month through the food pantry. So when people come in for food, we schedule an appointment. It's called a menu appointment. And they come in and they're given kind of a shopping guide. It's based on household size. So if you have 2 in your household, you have kind of set parameters on how much the quantity of every item. It's going to be a little less than 8 people in the household. So this space is set up kind of like a grocery store. We used to do it where you would come in and I would say, hi, I'm Erin Didion, I'm here for my appointment. I have 4 people in my family, and they would give me like a sheet and it would say, do you want fruit? And I would say, yes. And I would say, do you want cereal? These are all the grains, choose 4. And I would go through and be like cereal, oatmeal, rice, and flour. And then I turn that in, and then there would be volunteers in the back and they would go and they would pick up our shelves and fill a box of food. How many of you think that there's a lot of dignity in somebody telling you what you're going to feed your family? Someone else making that choice for you. Yeah, that's what we thought. There's not a lot of dignity in someone saying, oh, you want cereal? You get rice, or you get oat bran. No, I don't want that. That's not what I would choose for my family. So when we kind of renovated and rebranded, we switched it to what's called client choice. And so now you come in, you're given a shopping guide, and you're going to go back in our pantry and you're going to shop just like it's a grocery store. And you're going to say, you know what? I get 4 grains and I want Fruit Loops. I want instant oatmeal and I want 2 bags of rice because my family really likes rice. So you're choosing what it is that you're taking home to feed your family. We just break it into categories so we can kind of, we have lots of need. We don't always have huge quantities of food. So we have to put some parameters around it. So that's why we've worked out what we do. So that's twice a month. And we try and do it when you come twice a month, that you get 5 days worth of food for your family. So it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 5 days worth of food. We also have what's called TFAP. It's the Emergency Food Assistance Program. Has anybody ever heard of that? Yeah. You've heard of it? Yay, you're my first one. Awesome. It's government commodities. And so what that means is the federal government, many years in advance, but they say, in 2025, we're going to purchase this amount of food from farmers and we're going to distribute it. So they would make contracts and purchase, usually it's fruits, vegetables, and protein. They purchase those things and get them processed and then they send them to food banks. So food banks are huge organizations. They usually get a lot of food coming in, and then food pantries, which is what we are, they can purchase that food. Government commodities is different. The government's already paid for that. So it comes into community harvest, and since we're the largest food pantry in Huntington County, they send a portion of that down to us based on our county size. So the people can come in on Friday. You can come every Friday, and you go back, and just like our regular food pantry, we make it about choice. So just because they sent us this does not mean that's what you're going to leave with. You're going to go back, and let's say they send us almonds, canned salmon, canned carrots, canned mixed vegetables, and peaches. You're going to go back and you're going to say, this is what I want, and you're going to choose that. What's super important to us It's not only that you're getting a good quantity of food, remember I talked about it, we want you to have 5 days worth of food when you come, but we want you to have quality. I don't want anybody to take home something that's just gonna sit in a cabinet. That's waste for you guys, that's waste for us. And it's not good. So we really focus on providing meat, like, ground beef, pork, sausage, chicken. We work really hard to provide that. We work really hard to provide every single visit produce, so you can get fresh produce to go and eat or make things with, whatever you want. And we try really, really hard to every visit you get dairy and eggs. So even when you come on TFAP, you're gonna get those commodities from the government, but you're also gonna get those other items for us, just to kind of supplement what you're getting. So in all, you can get 6 visits to our food pantry. You're gonna get way, way more than that 10 days worth of food supply. We do that intentionally because when our neighbors call in and they have a need, it's all about A, meeting that need, and B, providing resources that frees up what money they have so they can take care of other things. If people come to us for food, there's usually other things that they need help with. Usually it's rent, usually it's utilities, clothes, medical bills, things like that. So we try and meet those needs they're easy for us, food and clothing, so then they can use their funds to take care of some of those other bigger things. So you mentioned clothes, so that's awesome, because last year the food pantry's in an old grocery store on Byron Street. We purchased the building next to us on Washington Street. It's an old funeral home, Deal and Rice Funeral Home. And we had a thrift store, it was kind of tucked into a corner in the back of our food pantry. We moved our thrift store over there, and that is open to the public. Anybody can come in and shop. It's the best deal in town. We have some great volunteers who run it, but anyone can come in and get what they need there. But we also have a voucher program through there. So if people have that clothing need, if they need like pots and pans and towels and sheets, we have those available. When we get donations of furniture, if you need furniture, you can come in and get that furniture at no cost. You can do that twice a year. We try and encourage people to do like a spring-summer voucher and a fall and winter voucher. So that way, over the course of the year, all of the things are getting met. Like if you need a swimsuit, you can get a swimsuit in the summer, and if you need a winter coat, you can make sure you get that with your winter voucher. That being said, if anybody walks in off the street and they have a need, everything we have has been given to us by the community, so we work really hard to make sure that need is met. There's been lots of times over in the food pantry in the winter, people come in flip-flops and say, "Where are your shoes?" And I'm like, "This is all I've got." Well, then let's go next door and get some shoes. Or they come in and they don't have a coat. Let's go next door and get a coat. We work really hard to make sure those basic needs are being met. So beyond the thrift store and the food pantry, we also have some things that are called gap ministries. So those are just little things that can kind of help fill those gaps in the community. Some of our biggest we have right now would be pet food. We have a lot of people who utilize our food pantry that also have pets. And we found out a couple years ago that they were taking like tuna fish and canned chicken and some of those things they were getting in the food pantry, and they were using it to feed their pets. Well, that's not what we want. We don't want anyone to ever have to choose between feeding themselves and feeding their pets. And I have 2 dogs and 2 cats, and I love my pets. So we get that those relationships are really important, especially for some of our elderly neighbors that we serve. So we started a pet food pantry. And every time people come, they can get cat food, they can get dog food. Sometimes we get weird things like rabbit food and hamster food. And if you have those animals, you can grab that while you're in there as well. We have a diaper ministry. So if people have kids, they can get diapers. I don't know how many of you know this. I did not know this until I had kiddos. But have you guys heard of WIC, Women, Infant, and Children? It's a great program through the state that supports moms. But you can't get diapers through WIC. You can get formula and you can get baby food, great things, but you can't get diapers, and diapers are super expensive. So that's a gap that we recognize, and then we fill that gap by sharing diapers with our littlest neighbors. We also have other programs, gas vouchers. Sometimes when people start jobs, when you start a job, you don't get a paycheck on day one. It's usually 2 weeks later. You need to get to that job though, so you can keep that job and get that paycheck. So we help people out when they get jobs that, with gas, so they can get back and forth to work until that first paycheck comes. Super important for a lot of folks. And then we also have one of my very favorite things. I always encourage anyone, if you want to volunteer and you need a place to start, it's called our Christmas gift shop, and it's amazing, my favorite thing. So it's open to anybody. They can sign up their children. If they have guardianship, they can sign up those kiddos, birth through age 18. And they come in and they shop and they choose 3 brand new toys or gift certificates, because none of you guys want toys, right? So if they're older kids, they can choose gift certificates, and the pajamas and hats and gloves and stocking stuffers and all the things. It's a lot of fun. It's a 2-day event. We need people to help shop for those toys. So that's a huge volunteer opportunity. We need people to help us set up that Christmas gift shop, huge opportunity. And we need people there that day to kind of help our shoppers find what they're looking for. In everything that we do, it's all rooted in 3 things. 1, we are a Christian organization. We do not hide that. We will serve anyone, but we are a faith-based organization. 2, everything we do is about recognizing people's dignity. I firmly believe that every single person has dignity and worth, and they have something to give back to the community, and that's so, so important. And then the 3rd thing that is so important to us is building relationships. There's no dignity in just getting a handout and being a number on a spreadsheet. We work really hard to build relationships, and in the food pantry and in that gift shop, those are great ways to build relationships with people, to get to know more about them, because like I said earlier, if they're coming for those things, there's probably more need there. And when you build that relationship with someone, it's easier to identify those needs. That's how our pet food pantry got started. Our volunteers were asking questions and getting to know the people in the food pantry, and they were the ones who found out, oh, there's this segment that is like, they're taking 4 cans of tuna because they can get 4 proteins, and they're feeding it to their pets, so they're not getting that protein. We need to do something about that. And they're absolutely right. It's those relationships where those new services come from. We have 8 staff. They're amazing. They're great. But we have 188 volunteers, and they're the ones who are really doing the work at United with Love. They're the ones who are meeting those needs every single day and building those relationships. So if anybody ever wants to volunteer, we would love to have you. I would love to add to our 188. I was telling the first class, most of our 188 volunteers, they are retirees, because retirees have the time. We love having young people. We love having high school students, even younger. We have junior high students that come in and help. It's so important that, when you're younger, you start developing those skills and developing that kind of heart for service for the community, because that's how the community gets better, when you start caring about one another. So if anybody ever wants to volunteer, I would love to talk to you about that. We have so many opportunities, and bonus, it's great for you guys, because what employers and colleges, what they love to see on resumes? That you volunteer. So yeah, does anybody have any questions about what we do? You have to have a question. You would be the first class that didn't have a question. Any question? No? All right, well thanks guys. Thanks for your time.